You may not like this, but we are halfway through 2026. It's crazy. And what's even crazier is what's happening here in the Fraser Valley when it comes to all things real estate. Now, spring has been fairly typical, and now we're jumping into the summer market, which when we compare it to previous year's data, with most certainty, we can predict what's going to happen here in the summer. And so that's what we're going to be going over so that you can have an idea of what to expect during the summer months. And then once we go over all the information, I want to give you my 2 cents, whether you're thinking about buying or selling here in the Fraser Valley. And at the very end, I want to show you 2 real estate tools that I think are an absolute game changer when it comes to all things real estate. So stick around for that. And so the first chart that I want to show you here is benchmark home prices, because really this is what most people care about. It's like, what are happening to home prices? Are they going up? Are they going down? Where is it going to be here in the next couple of months? And that's what really matters. And so that's why I wanted to show you this graph first. It's all residential. So what does that mean? Well, that means it includes detached houses, townhomes, and condos all lumped into one. And so right now we're sitting at $93,000 across the Fraser Valley. And as you can see, we're kind of starting to slide downwards. And when we compare it to 2025, 2024, you can see we had the initial excitement, the initial hump here. There was a little bit of that in March and April, not too much. And now we're kind of facing, in my opinion, would be a slow decrease for the remaining of 2026. But before we go any further, I just wanted to say, if you're curious on what's happening specifically in the detached market, so meaning detached homes, townhomes, or condos, a little bit later, I'm going to break those down individually so you know exactly what's happening there. So stick around for that. But I just wanted to talk about the market as a whole before getting into the nitty gritty. And what better yet to look at than new listings? What is the market doing? Is there more excitement happening? And really, we've seen quite a substantial decrease. It's actually 7% decrease month over month since the last year. Now, some could say that's a drastic number, but again, when we compare it to the previous 2 years, well, that's kind of exactly what happens, right? And this is the joy of looking at numbers from previous years so that we don't get too excited when we see these blaring headlines about, oh, sales are at an all-time low, new listings have taken a tumble. It's like, well, what is that? How does that compare to the previous years? Because that's really what we want to know. And so what we can say is that new listings are drastically lower than 17% lower than the previous year. And probably, if I were to guess, it'd be about 10% lower than 2024. And so there's definitely not as much excitement about putting new listings on the market. And the next slide here is total active inventory. So this is all of the homes that are on the market right now. And currently in May, we have 10,140 listings. That's a lot of listings here in the Fraser Valley. Not as much as last year, but still significantly high when it comes to total active inventory. And the next one here, which is a big one, is sales, right? We have a lot of active listings. Home prices have been coming down. And so what are happening to sales? And so sales have more or less been stagnant since last month. Again, compared to January, February, March, April, May, more people want to do things when it comes to springtime. And what's most likely going to happen, we'll see it somewhat stalemate or not do much. And then again, that July, August, September, nobody wants to do anything. And again, I've been saying this over and over and over again. The human psychology when it comes to when people want to buy homes, it's not a surprise. Like, this happens year over year. Like, I only have 3 years of data here, but if you were to compare it to the last 10 years, this is exactly what happens every single year. So it shouldn't be alarming. There's no alarm bells going off in my head when I'm looking at this data. Now, this next graph here that I want to show you is sales to active listings ratio. It's basically a comparison between how many active listings we have versus how many are selling. And for a buyer's market, they say anything under 12%. So let's just say there's 100 homes that are for sale right now. Only 12 of them or less that's selling each month would be considered a buyer's market, because there's not that many people wanting to buy said goods. And so it has to be a buyer's market. Now, anything from 12 to 20% is a balanced market. The market is deemed to be balanced when it's at that percentage. And then anything above 20 to 100%, and as you can see here, back in COVID, like pretty much everything that went on the market was selling, which was absolutely crazy times. But right now we're sitting at 11%. Now, this next graph here is one that I find very interesting because I get this question quite often: is how long does it take to sell a house? what is typical? What can I expect when I sell my house? How long is it going to take? And well, right here, this is the average. So this is all of the homes in all of the Fraser Valley. Right now, single family detached homes are taking 35 days. So just over a month. Attached or townhomes, 37 days. And condos, they're the highest at 40 days. So if you're thinking about listing your home for sale and it's still in the market right now, and you're wondering what the heck is going on, why isn't it selling? Well, this is how long it, on average takes. Now, don't get me wrong, if your house is priced right and it's a product that a lot of buyers are going after, which what I'm seeing is houses with suites or multi-generational living, kind of what I specialize in, those tend to go quicker. And so this is just the average, so keep that in mind. And even take a screenshot of this. This is pretty cool. Now, this is where I wanted to get into more granular what's going on in the residential detached, the residential townhomes, and then the condos. And so the first one being is the houses, detached houses. What's going on right now? And so this is medium home prices. So we've seen a bit of an uptick here in April, and now we're sliding back down in May. Kind of typical when it comes to the spring market. More things get excited, and then when it comes to May, June, we kind of level off. Sometimes we see a bit of an uptick here in October and September because, again, when we looked at all the other graphs, there's more activity that happens. And so right now, $1,290,000 in the Fraser Valley is the medium home price. Sales have gone up a little bit since the previous months. Now, again, that's kind of typical. What we'll see here most likely in the next couple of months is that this number will decrease. Non-actives right now are just about 3,500. And the last one being here is the sales to actives listings ratio, which when we seen earlier, it was at 11%, meaning it's in a buyer's market. And then again, 12 to 20% being a balanced market. So we're pretty much on the verge of being balanced. I don't know if I more or less agree with that. When we see home prices at large going down, I would say it's still very much in a buyer's market. Next one is the townhomes. And so again, we're looking over the last 2 years, prices have been continuing to slide downwards. I imagine it's going to happen similar here. We've seen a little bit more sales, more actives on the market. It's actually a solid balanced market right now in the townhome segment. So, and then we come to the condos. Again, we've seen that lovely uptick in the springtime, and now we're going to be most likely leveling off, and if not a slight decrease here. Average price is $485,000. It's a 2% decrease from last month. Less sales are actually happening and about the same amount of actives. And so we're actually sliding more into a buyer's market. And so when we look at all the numbers here, townhomes are the most active right now. And it kind of makes sense. Like, money's still expensive. People find it hard to buy detached. Not many people want to buy condos these days. And so townhomes seem to be the one that's moving the most right now. And so now that we've gone over all of that information, what does this actually mean to you? If you're buying here in 2026, this is what I got to say to you. There's less new listings are hitting the market. You'll have less new choices going into the summer. And so if you're hoping that a whole bunch of new listings are going to hit the market because all the listings in the market right now are overpriced, you don't like any of them, well, you're going to have less new options. Not to say there's not going to be any new options. I'm not saying that. There's just going to be less. And so if you find something that checks most of your boxes, don't just keep thinking that there's going to be a better one, because there might not be. Prices have started to decrease from the initial spring bump. And if I had to guess, they will continue to decrease for the remaining of the summer/year. Again, we're comparing this to 2024, 2025, even 2023 for that matter. And everything happens the same. The prices have a slight increase during the spring, and then they've been decreasing ever since. And so the question is, should I wait or should I buy? And people ask me this all the time. And I'm like, I can't sit here and say, well, this is exactly what's going to happen. Because if anyone's telling you that, well, they're lying to you, because nobody knows, right? Something drastic could change in the world economics, and all of a sudden prices are increasing or prices are decreasing. And so what I say is, does it make sense for you to buy right now, given your situation? Because everybody's situation is so different. So me sitting here and talking about what everyone should do, it's just not the truth. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that. But what I will say is that one of the most important things to do is get pre-approved before you start looking, because the last thing you want to do is go and look at all these homes and then realize you can't afford anything. So that's my bit for you. Now, if you're thinking about selling here in 2026 in the summer, it's going to be tough for you. You're going to have to price it right from the start. There's so many listings that are on the market that are overpriced and that are just sitting. And so do you want to be one of those people that are just sitting? Because what can happen is, this is the illustration I always like to say, well, the market's here. The fair market value for a home is here. Most people don't want to list it above fair market value, and that's fine. It's your home, you can do what you want. Now, what we're going to see here for the remaining of 2026 most likely is that prices are going to continue to go downwards. And so what could happen here is a month goes by and you're like, finally, okay, you know what, Rich, I want to reduce my price. So you reduce your price, but the market's down here now. And so you end up just chasing the market down, when really, if you just market your home at market value, you will get interest, because there are buyers still out there, right? Sales are still happening. People still need to buy homes. And so price it right from the start. You're going to give yourself, you're going to save yourself a whole bunch of headache. And the next one being is making your home stand out, because right now buyers have options. We've seen that in the data. Total active inventory isn't at an all-time high, but it's high. And so there's lots of homes on the market. Literally, just go drive down your street and tell me I'm wrong. And so how do you make your home stand out? Well, what I always say is just fix what's broken. I don't want you to sell your home and buyers to come in there and just see this is broken, that's not working. And all of a sudden they're thinking, what else does this homeowner do that essentially makes me feel like they don't take care of their home? And then they're going to go to another home, which is probably across the street, that's better to well taken care of, and they're going to go buy that one. So make your home stand out. Be ready for less activity, as this is what happens every summer. Again, I reference the data, and I reference what's happening even in my own world, that nobody wants to do things during the summer. They're going on holidays, they're going on vacations, they're taking twice, 3, 4 times as long to put offers together. It's just what's happening. There's no rush to do anything when it comes to the summer months. And so just be ready for less activity. Don't get mad when you have no homes or no showings, because everyone's out doing something else. Listings are still high, meaning you still have lots of competition. We kind of alluded to that earlier. And the last one being here is know your reason on why you are selling. I find it so interesting and fascinating that homeowners will have their house on the market for 6 months, 7, 8, 9, a year, year and a half, and not sell it. Why would you want to go through all this effort, time, energy, showings, back and forth offers, and not want to sell your home? And so that's why I just asked, hey, if you're going to put your house on the market, know exactly why you are selling. Because in all honesty, it's going to be a bunch of work. It's not going to be a walk in the park. You see the average days on market are about a month. So there's going to be a bunch of showings. Now, again, that's not everybody's case. I say it's not everybody's case because there is people out there that have a product that's really nice. They've made their home stand out, and it's priced well, and their buyers are out there buying it up. That's the reality. But for the majority of people out there, it's a bunch of work. And so that's why I just say know your reason for selling, because you just want to go through all this effort and then not sell your home. And so as promised, here is this real estate tool that I want to show you. I got another one here just after this one. But the first one here is what's my home worth? Zero conversation, home evaluation. You literally have to talk to nobody, and this gives you a home evaluation. So literally, you scan the QR code, you put in your address, put in your information, and then literally in a matter of seconds, it gives you what it predicts your home value to be worth. I've compared this to hundreds of homes that have sold and have been active, and it's scary to see how accurate it is. And full disclosure, I do get your information, so myself or someone from my team will be reaching out if you have any questions. And again, we're not here to try and sell anything. We're literally just here to see if you need any help, and if you don't, we'll go on our way. But the second tool that I want to show you here, which is what I'm most proud of, is the homeowner advantage, right? There's so many things that people don't know about home ownership, or stepping into home ownership they don't know, or they're planning on being a homeowners in a little while here. And they're scared because they have no idea what to expect when it comes to home ownership. And so it's a program that I put together. You can scan this QR code, check off what you want, what you don't want. Just real quick, what's inside is monthly market updates. So stuff like this, I send you access to my newest videos. I come out with content all the time when it comes to things that buyers and sellers should know about real estate. Super valuable there. In the annual home review, I think it's often fascinating that for those who own a home or thinking about owning a home, they don't get a review done every single year on their home. They'll get their taxes done, they'll get their car's maintenance every year, but the biggest asset that you're going to own, you're not going to get a checkup. So that's in there as well. And then the home stewardship program, which again, for those of you who may not have ever taken care of a home, I've built out an extensive program essentially helping you to maintain your home so that you can maintain its value. Because the last thing you want to do is neglect something and then it costs you substantially more than if you were just to like do preventative maintenance. So check that out. Now, if you are checking out homes right now in the Fraser Valley and you're wondering what the heck you need to be looking for, well, I want to show you this video right here. It's how to spot a bat house in 60 seconds, where I literally go over things you should be looking for. So if you're going to open houses, you're going on showings, check this out because it's super valuable and it informs you on what you should be looking for. So check that out. But as always, I appreciate you watching, sticking around with me, and I'll see you in the next one.